Hello, beautiful stars. Welcome to today's reading. All right, so before we get started, just a couple of announcements. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So in the month of July or so, there may or may be a couple weeks with our reading or so. I'm doing some spiritual retreats and I have some other big projects going on. And for those of you who have mentioned that you like the sound of my voice, the soothing aspect of it, the project is related to that. So that will be released in the future when the time comes. Other than that, I think that's all the house tidying up we have to do. Let's get into today's reading. So we are looking at the channel message for today is how to bring forth your inner light. Firstly and mostly within yourself, and of course when that is brought out, then how that is brought out in others as well. So we have 3 groups for you to choose from today. First group is this one with this oracle, and here's the picture, and then your tarot card is this with the Page of Swords. Okay, and pile 2, we have this for your oracle, and we have coagulation, and with this card as your Lenormand, and we have the young symbol or the masculine energy. And pile 3, we have this as your oracle, and we have pomegranate, and we have your tarot as this card back, and the card we have for you is the Page of Wands. Beautiful card. All right, lovely stars, take a moment to tune into your intuition. Take a nice deep breath, close your eyes if you need to, and once you are ready, go to the description in the description box and the timestamps down below, and then I will see you in your piles. Hello, beautiful stars of Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So let's see here. We have your oracles to indicate the nature of your light, and how that kind of shine or resonates within you. And then we have your tarot to look at the factors that kind of contribute to perhaps where your light is dim and or being withheld from being shown, or how to bring its luster out, how to shine it, kind of the essence of the beauty of the light that you are. And we will look finally at the Lenormand here to indicate the practical aspect of how to bring that out and about. All right, so let's start with the cards that you chose. So you had offering with give a generous spirit, blessings abound. So for pile 1 here, spirit, okay, let's see. What is the nature of their light? I see in here, I feel it's a very giving light is the nature and essence of your light here. Something also has to do with kind of a generational aspect, whether you whether it falls in your lineage or your natural kind of upbringing, your lineage, your upbringing of either charity work or giving aspect, but there's something about that energy that kind of carries on, not with just one limited kind of generation or limited to one person or one group, perhaps, or one family. There's something about it the nature of your light here has a very giving energy to it, and it goes on and it stretches. It's like something that somebody's built over time, like a scholarship, for example, right? It just keeps on replenishing itself and giving over time, even though the one who established it has come and gone from the physical world. Okay, yes, so that's primarily what we're getting. Okay, and let's look at the other card here with the Page of Swords. There may be some entrepreneurs here, but I'm also getting very kind of innovative, creative, especially on the intellectual realm for the majority of you. And I'm also picking up some kind of more on the emotional aspect for a small portion of you too. But yeah, the nature of your light, the nature it comes forth, stems a lot in the creative realm. Like we mentioned already, a lot with kind of entrepreneurial or intellectual pursuits. And then for some other you, there's a dash or a touch of, or the majority focus there is on an emotional aspect as well. But you're this kind of innovative, inventive, I'm hearing genius creator too. Very well guided, by the way, very well connected to the spiritual realm, even though you might not know it. For some of you, it's like when you get in the flow of your creation, whatever it is, intellectually or emotionally, it's like there's it's like the world opens up for you, and there's your mind just flows, your emotions flows, and your creativity flow. And it's not that there isn't limits, but the limits get broken as if they were just kind of these strands of a figment of imagination limitation here. Because once you get in that flow state, your light just kind of beams, and it shatters through the darkness of limitations, the darkness of so very yeah, we're getting genius visionaries, but certainly guided, whether you are aware of it or not, in terms of whether you are spiritually aware of it or not. Yeah, it's almost like having a muse or your spiritual guide is always there with you, pointing out certain feelings and inclinations and thoughts that says something like, oh, perhaps like a thought pops in your head, or an emotion feeling, and it's like, oh, I want to kind of tweak this project this way. I don't know why, but it just came to me. That's kind of the guiding source for your life there along the way. So yes, a great combination to have in terms of being a visionary for the world. The light of giving and the light of innovation can create, no wonder it can create a lot of things for many generations that has come, and for many generations that will come. Okay, let's look a little bit more into this with your other cards here. We have Soul Journey. Okay, so for some of you, self-discovery is coming into play here. Anything else in this realm? I'm hearing it will be good for you, both in terms of, for your growth, finding your light, finding what makes you shine, finding the topic we have going on today, right? It's like how to find your inner light. It's good for your progression and growth, both overall as an individual, but certainly if you are just beginning on the path of spirituality, that is certainly going to assist there as well. Okay, and we have Soul Song. Okay, instantly I'm getting hit with, first of all, is higher self, like we said, spiritually guided, but in terms of generation wise, it's almost as if this light comes, I mean, it is part of your higher self, so it's part of the culmination of the lifetimes you have lived. But yeah, with the higher self coming through here and the multiple lifetimes coming through, it's like this light just continues growing brighter and brighter in each incarnation. Yeah, so this is certainly not the first time, but yeah, it's coming through in many lifetimes, in many forms. And each time, each go around, each incarnation, it's like this is a nice image. It's like little fractals that are diamonds that gets put into, say like you say, say like you have an egg or something, or like a dress or some sort of statue, and there's all these and the statue, the dress or the egg or whatever it is, the object is, looks already as beautiful as it is, right? That's the nature of the light. But there's like these little diamonds you can add to the statues of the dress or the egg, and it makes it even more brilliant. And that's what we're getting here with each incarnation, each cycle, each roll around. Yeah, each time it adds like a unique aspect to your light, your inner light, and how you shine. And yeah, that makes it more scintillating, more unique each time. That's really beautiful. Okay, and we have Visualize. Okay. So definitely the higher self, your source light, your source inner light is coming out through this. But this talks again about the expansion of your soul here. It's like we said, with those little add-ons of little diamonds that makes the peace or the light, in this case, shine more uniquely, more different than what it already is. It's like a trend, a level, kind of like a level up, but actually it's more like, that's not the best way to describe it. It's more like an added layer. Yes. An added layer of intricacy that makes it more beautiful. It's like a crystal lattice. A crystal lattice in diamond, for example. It's like you can start out with carbon, right? And as each as it gets pressurized into diamond, it like the lattice becomes more intricate. Is the best way I have to describe it. It's just so yeah, that's the best way, the description we have for it. It just adds more and more layers, especially with the number 9 here indicating what they're pointing me out is the spiritual aspect, or we'll just call it the spiritual aspect because it's the best description we have in terms of our the language we have for this state. But yes, it's like added layers to the visionary layers of you. Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. All right, let's see what factors are involved in this light and how it comes about. Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands. Unending potential, unlimited potential, as if a child or a baby from birth, or an undifferentiated cell. It has infinite potential to keep on growing. It's almost like, wow, I'm getting the image of going from like a seed of light from source, and then that seed forever growing, right? And then it eventually absorbing back to source. But this time, what we're getting the image of is the tree of life, the spiritual tree of life in the cosmic universe. And it's like, that's why there's such a potential and a path for you to go and to grow, because to go from source into a single drop of light into an incarnation, and to kind of work its way back into the tree of life, into source again, it's quite a journey, right? Like a lot of us go through many eons and eons of incarnations, and that's what we're seeing here. And as you can see, as you kind of work your way back, it becomes a lot more intricate each time, as your light here grows and transforms and is added with that many layers we talked about already. In many shapes, size, and forms, in many different energetic aspects, in many incarnations. It continues to become more unique each time. But at the same time, the essence of that light is still connected to source, which is absolutely beautiful. Okay, and then we have the Four of Coins here. Okay, two messages coming through here. And then we have the Six of Cups. Nice confirmation there. It's got the shivers. Eight of Coins. Okay. And we have the Lovers. This is a fruitful garden here. Okay, so in this combination here, we see the essence and the aspect of your inner light. First of all, reiterated, but also the nature of where it's at and how it's transforming. Like we said, it's still your inner light is there at a certain aspect, and it's in connection with your higher self and with source. But it's going through its evolution and change and adding those diamonds and kind of enhancing that matrix to make it even more unique and refined. That's where we are at in terms of the nature of it. The limitations we see here points out to how we can call out your light, or I should say more how to bring it out, because in this realm, in this earth that we are living in, it provides the contrast to, and not only it provides the contrast to that light, that inner light, it also helps us, it brings us challenges, we'll call them, duality and aspects, to kind of polish that light. What I mean by that is, it's not that, let me explain clearly. The light itself, your inner light, is already pure as it is. But what I mean by polishing is like without the contrast as to what that light is, it's difficult to enhance or refine it, right? So that's why in this world, in this 3D world, there's a lot of things that happen, things we go through, things we experience that, yeah, I mean, there's the whole gamut, right? The emotional turmoils, the financial aspects, the living in this world, and everything that encompasses, that will provide challenges and pathways and opportunities for this light to polish itself and refine itself further and further. It's just adding, that's how you add more and more layers to it. And the kind of the restrictions or the challenging aspects that will help you bring out your light is, well, there's two aspects, but let's talk about the I guess the material aspect of this world that's making it that's making it challenging, plus helping at the same time to bring it out, is there is some sort of financial aspect or resource limitation aspect to this, and feeling the confines, the restrictions, the limitations that the world puts on you, and of course on your inner light. It's wanting to do things a certain way, but then getting boxed and hemmed in with either restrictions, rules, politics, money. Yeah, there's some sort of aspect that is adding to limitation. And the other aspect is the the concept of time. This and this points more to the mental construct and concept of time. Let me see if I can get a little bit more information on this. What is in regards to time that Pile1 is concerned about, Spirit? It's, well, okay, two things. One is kind of feeling like you're just a cog in the grand wheel of things, like in say like a grandfather clock, right? Because we have time here depicted. Yeah, just feeling like you're a cog in the system, like one of these cogs here in the system. And there's an essence of feeling of kind of like a hollowness there. It's like not making grand waves, grand splashes enough, not feeling that the things you really want to do, the things that really lights you up, that really brings out your light, that really makes you shine, is perhaps for some of you, it's not being brought about in a creative manner, or being able to do it, whether financial restrictions or guidelines or whatever, that makes it feel unsatisfactory. It's like being, for example, like being in a job that you feel like it's repetitious, it's and not producing any value that feels wholesome to you, or doing something. The other message that comes with this is perhaps doing something but not feeling like you're getting either compensated enough or getting your value and your worth for what you are doing. And that feeling, of course, is going to put those squeeze or those challenges on your inner light, right? It will quote unquote dim your light. It's like how we talked about already, that your light, your inner light cannot be dim because it's bright as it is, but this dimming effect of it is the contours or the challenging aspect around the world. I mean, in this world. I'm not sure that makes sense. So, yeah, let me repeat that real quick. Yeah, it's like the light you have is always pure, it's always connected. However, it's the circumstances of the world that makes it seem like it's not as bright as it is. Yes. Um, and that's also why Spirit chose this specific deck to come out for you. This is the Silhouettes Tarot, ironically. Yeah, and we also have the light version of the Silhouette Tarot here, which Spirit uses this deck a lot. And it's the light that is showing the light that is being contoured, being shaped by the circumstances around it, right? It's like instead of its own image or its own, we see an image that is formed by what's going on in the world around it. And it's like, it's almost as if one of those challenges, the aspect for your soul journey and its soul growth is to recognize these kind of limitations and contours and defining lines, and breaking free of that, not letting those lines define your light, but rather being the light and letting that define the limitations of where it is. Because what you have in essence, as we talked about already, is this ingenuity, creative mind, kind of like a childlike state of mind that gives you infinite potential, that pluripotent stem cell that has that's undifferentiated and has the potential to turn into anything, and it's the essence of what you hold. In a way, it's both, and that's what your inner light is. In a way, it is both a gift to yourself and it's a gift to others, because that pure innocence, that pure way to look at the world from a childlike perspective or from an infinite potential perspective allows you to break through all these contours, these limitations that are like, cobwebs at this point. So when you get in touch with your inner light, and your inner child and your inner innocent sense of self, your infinite potential perception of how things can be, that in itself is a gift for you. That is your inner light. And in a way, it's also a great gift to the world and the people and things that you create in this world. Because that's what will keep things going for generations on end. Yes, it's the infinite potential and an unending potential that just keeps on creating and going generations after generations. Okay, gorgeous. And this one here, this card tells us that what I heard when I got this card was a beautiful garden, which makes me think of the garden in Lenormand, which talks about community aspect. And that's the feeling I also got when we got to this card, is there is an aspect of bringing this light out to the community. It's certainly guided there with a bee here, another spiritual guide here, bringing that out to the community, connecting that with your community. For some of you, that may mean partnership, whether romantically or business-wise, but there is some sort of connection, certainly, with community and involvement with others here, of how to bring and carry out this light, because that's the purpose of getting your inner light and recognizing it and then getting it to shine, getting it to refine, right? Is so that it can be expressed and to be shared and to be passed along in future generations here. Okay, and let's finally look at your Lenormand here. So we have the fish. Okay, plethora and abundance is already what we're hearing. The king of your status. Okay. Okay. Let's put that here so you can see it. And then we have the rider. And then we have the heart. Okay, interestingly here, so, okay, give me just a moment, stars, to get all the messages here. These three are all interlinked. I hear status in terms of status being recognized, whether it's in the community or on a grander, greater scale. But also with the writer here, coming in fast and making a splash on the scene, deep in the ocean here, as in like when, for example, when the king of the ocean, Triton or Poseidon or something, makes an appearance. Yeah, it's a splash, right? It's everybody's going to take note, everybody's going to notice, and yeah, there has to be there's some aspect in regards to that, and then the interlinked and connection with it is, well, two aspects here. One is feeling, kind of connecting with your heart source, which is where your well, one aspect is where your higher self resides, but there's so much to capture here in terms of getting in touch with your heart source, connecting with the higher self on the physical level, like your heart space, and then on the cosmic spiritual level with higher self, and then with source. And the other message coming through here that is quite interlinked is feeling at home wherever you are. And we are not only talking or meaning just about the physical home, or necessarily the cosmic home here even. It's more so about feeling and being in your heart as an expression of your inner light and of yourself, to give you comfort wherever you go, so you can be in that state of flow and creation, and of in sync with your inner light, so that you can make that grand entrance, that grand status wherever you go. And the reason why we have this splash status or making that grand entrance here, we're talking about the practical aspects of how to bring out your inner light here in the world, and it has to do with that garden, with that community aspect we're talking about. It's the connections, the community, the interlinked relations that will foster and bring out the lights, because your inner lights here, connecting with it, has a greater purpose, and the purpose is, as we talked about in the very beginning, about giving, and about giving to the community and the world, but also giving it multi-generationally. Yes. Okay, so the practical aspect, yes, is recognizing and making a splash, and making a connection with community and status. So yeah, an extend status here, like the main thing we're getting with this is status, But status means so much more, right? It's like status, think of status in terms with the community here, with the garden here. It's how and what you do with groups of people and other people, and how to make waves and splash on that magnitude is the status we're talking about. Yes. Okay. Wow, absolutely wonderful, Pile1. Yeah, so tap into that unlimited potential inner child self of yours, that infinite state of mind and of potential to connect with your inner light, and then letting it unfold that ways, and then using the circumstances of the world to make your light shine more brilliantly, instead of letting it kind of define or limit the contours of your light. Okay, I think that is all the messages we have for you, Pile1. Thank you for joining me in the message today. I wish you have a wonderful magical day whenever and wherever you are. Take care of yourself, shine ever so bright with your beautiful light, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye, lovely stars. Hello, Pile2, beautiful stars of Pile2. Welcome to your reading. Your reading is, well, I don't know how your reading is going to go yet, but your energy is quite interesting already. It's already unique from the other piles, as I can feel. Let's see, what else we wanted to mention? Yeah, you're a star in the rough, like a diamond in the rough. Something of a one of a million. Okay, all right, so let's get started with the cards you have chosen. We are going to look at what's the best way to bring out your inner light, right? Or to connect with your inner light and bring it out, and then how in yourself, and then of course in others as well. Your oracles, we have a lot of, will be talking and indicative of that and the nature of your light. The Lenormand here will talk about the practical aspect of how to bring it about, and the tarot will just look at whether there's any like limitations or dimming of your lights, or things that are blocking it from coming out, or your connection to it, and also how just to kind of bring it forth and about. Okay, yes, so that is the format we have. Let's get started here with the cards you chose, and you chosen coagulation. So for Pile2 Spirit, how can we bring out their inner light, how to connect to it? Coagulation. Seeing beauty and seeing beauty and vision in everything you see. So we're talking about the nature of your light here, and I see this as the corona around the sun. It's a layer around the sun, and well, the sun itself is a brilliant source of light, and that is like your inner light here, like your okay, they're really pointing me out to sun energy here. It's yeah, you're quite an amazing, your light is quite amazing, Pile2. Sunflowers, sun, everything that's indicative of sun, like Leo energy, the sun energy, is just pouring out here. It's uplifting, it's vitalizing, it's enthusiastic. It's so many, all the good things that that comes, and that you feel elated from a bright light as the sun is. And that is the coagulation or accumulation of seeing everything in beauty here. So we're still talking about the nature of your light. Just keep that in mind. And the nature of your light is to see beauty, to see beauty in everything, but more so if we get further and deeper into that aspect, it's because you are seeing inner source light in everything you see. That's why everything looks as beautiful. As just when you see a lily, it's when you see ashes, or when you see a candle, when you see there, whatever you see, you're able to recognize it is stemming from source light, from source creation. And it's almost as if you can see it like a corona layer around the sun. The sun itself would represent source light, and everything else, everybody, everything you see in your world, it's like that layer or that emanation from the sun, which is that layer or the corona layer around the sun. Okay. Really magnanimous energy coming through here, feeling very elated and amazing already with your energy. So quite brilliant, quite shining already. Let's look at your other card that you've chosen. So we have the young energy, yeah, and that speaks to me right away. It's young, it's pure energy, whereas yin is more forms and shapes and things like that. When we're talking about yang, we're talking about pure light, pure energy. And the energy that diffuses or that emanates from you gives, like the sun does, gives brilliance to everything that comes in contact with it. That like the moon here, like how the moon absorbs the sunlight energy and then reflects it out at night, right, to give kind of getting told like that guidance of light in the night. And even the deck that we've chosen for you is it's funny, this deck is for the Lenormand, it's called the Witchy Lenormand, but when Spirit is telling me which was asking, when I was asking which deck to choose your Lenormand, they were telling me, they gave me the image of this deck, but however they call it the star in the night, which is the light in the night Lenormand here. And also with your tarot deck, we have another star in the night deck here. This is a true black tarot, and it talks about there's a quote from the creator, the artist here, that when the night is darkest, let me find the box for it, but it's like when the night is darkest, that's when you can see the light in its utmost brilliance. I'm kind of paraphrasing that, but let's look at the quote exactly that he says, which is here in the box. And it says, "It is only in darkness that we see the stars." But yeah, the message that I like to put that in is, in the darkest of nights is when you see light in its utmost brilliant form, because there's that contrast here. So that's what's coming forth from the nature of your light here. Brilliant sun energy, radiant energy, an energy, an inner light that is able to be suffused or passed on and affects everything in a brilliant, more positive way to whatever it comes into contact with. Okay, all right, let's look at the other oracles here. So we have Venus, gorgeous. Okay, and then we have Breath. So this combination here is really beautiful. We see here, at least in this interpretation, in this reading today, this is the shape of the planet, and it's like you're bringing brilliance and love, like your source light, your inner light here is bringing love into this world. in whatever shape or form that comes about. And it's breathing vitality with the breath here. But breathing also, combination with breath and Venus here, it's like breathing life and beauty. And I just realized and remember, we talked about seeing beauty in everything that there is, right? And breathing life and beauty into everything. Venus is all about love and beauty and expression of the self to that utmost extent. And not only is it about that expression, it's about that expression in a playful kind of manner, in a beautiful kind of manner. Things that adds to the world. Like if we think about the what Venus rules is like in the fields of like art and creativity and expression and of pleasure, like the lily here, who is our guest for today. It coming out. I feel like it's that speaks for itself and doesn't need to be conveyed anymore. It's your light. I'm feeling it now. It's a very elated feeling. It's just to bask in this presence, in this energy. It's more beautiful and sufficient than being able to convey it in words. But we do have a reading going on here, so all right, let's look at the other cards we have here. We have the Ocean. Okay. And then we have Alethea. Okay. Notice the similarity we have here. In terms of, it's almost like a separation or distinction or duality of two different states of being. Delineated by a line here. Ocean, of course, talks about death. But this is the depth of vision that is being pointed out to me here. And not only that, Alethea here means the truth. And it's being able to see through the quagmire or the nuance or the surface, superficial image, kind of like an encrusted shell that people have for themselves. How do we explain that? It's being with the nature and the essence of your light here, your inner light, being able to see beauty, almost kind of like in its purest form, right? Say like the Venus de Milo painting, the birth of Venus. In that clamshell, it's often depicted where Venus is in full nude form, which means you see her in her purest form, in her most vulnerable form, in her most beautiful, unadulterated, unfiltered form. Like that's the ability of part of your light here, is to see things from the truth of what it is in its purest form, without any delineation or without any kind of that self-imposed layers that people have put on themselves, the superficial layers, say like a filter, for example, or I'm getting more like emotional kind of filters here, like shells or walls that people put up, a ways or mask that they wear, things that will show them as one way to the world, but inside there's something else, there's something different. And part of your inner light is being able to recognize and see people truly for how they are in their purest form. Sometimes that, this is a bit nuanced to kind of parse out here, because when we're talking about the purest form of light in each and everybody, it's stemming from source light. We are all fractions, like of the main sun here, just layers, or just particles splitting off from source. However, when that comes about, when it comes through the shape, when that light comes through the shape of incarnation, especially on this dense earth and this 3D realm, that comes with a lot of, like we talked about, layers and walls and mask and things like that, that gives a false superficial image. And sometimes that false superficial image, the person who has created those walls and mask for themselves and wear it so often that it almost becomes like second nature to them. It almost becomes like a part of them, and they forget who they are on the inside. But part of your inner light is to see and recognize that, because it's your ability, your inner light, to see through the truth of things, and then to shed light on that, to bring beauty and love and breath and life back into the essence of people's light. Yes. Yeah, beautiful. So it is in the form of recognizing and just being, and recognizing your own inner light, that you are able to shed light to other people in terms of how to recognize themselves and their inner light. Often where they have kind of become so lost in the mask or the walls that they have built for themselves. Gorgeous. Okay. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Let's go to our tarot next here and see what can bring about this inner light of yours, the perhaps the restrictions, limitations from your life from being fully expressed. Although from what I'm getting already, it feels like you certainly stand out among in the crowd like a brilliant sun. So let's see if there is any limitations here. We have the 5 of Wands here. Okay. And then we have the Fool. Oh, okay. Interesting. A Herald. Okay. And we have the Sun. Talk about the Sun. This whole entire reading is about your inner light. And we mentioned the Sun multiple times. I hear unabashed. Kind of like a unabashed representation, like a leader or a model for people to follow. Yeah. And then we have the 4 of Cups. Okay, so give me just a second. This 4 of Cups starts with the 4 of Cups here. we see the cups are all full, but not all full. We see most of them full, and half is full, and we see this beautiful light flower kind of infusing its magic into this, where everything else is covered. Okay, so we're looking at how to bring it out here in this portion, or what's limiting it from being fully expressed, or you're from fully connecting with your light here. And like we mentioned earlier, I think the majority of you are in your inner light and are well connected to it, because we do see you standing out in the crowd where others, how we talked about the walls and the masks, have hurt themselves, have kind of a certain limited, restricted view about themselves that dim their inner light. You continue to stand out, and you really recognize your light. So I think for the majority of you, you are in your inner light already. There is not much limiting you, not much kind of binding your light. It brings me back to the feeling again. You are so brilliant in your own self and inner sun form, in your own light, that you actually are a hero for a new beginning. Bringing light and infusing that in so many shape, ways of form, in terms of love, in terms of vitality, in terms of truth, in terms of recognition, in terms of brilliance, bringing it, being like a hero. It's like bringing it, part of how to bring out your light is just to be you and to have your interaction with the world. Because since you are so naturally in resonance, in vibration, in connection, and in alignment with your inner light, that at this point, all you have to do is be in your full expression, and you become a model for others, a model for them to stand out in their own light, or in connection to their self and their light. Infusing your magic here, that we talked about already, and also with the peacock feathers here, it's that full expansion. The peacock and the sun. Okay, pretty straightforward, but it's just about, you don't have to too much step into your light. Starts the Pile2 here. It's more about expressing it and who you are. So that can be in whatever you do or however you express yourself. The more you express yourself, the more you stay true to your nature, and the more because like the sun, right? It doesn't have to do anything except shine. And in that process alone, it can influence everything around it. It doesn't have to do anything, but express itself. Okay, so let's look at the practical approach or aspect. It almost feels like, let's see, I'm gonna put it portions over these three this way so you can see them, plus they might correspond to each of these areas. That's the feeling I was getting. I don't know yet, so let's see. So we have the ship. Okay. Hello, my light workers and starseeds. Okay, shout out to you all, because yes, this is carrying across worlds. Your soul is quite advanced. Some of your souls have been interestingly new here too. I don't get a feeling of an old soul for a lot of you. Some of you are, but I'm getting almost like a new fresh wave here. Some of you are in the sense that you travel to many worlds and have done this over and over and over, in the sense that you traverse many worlds to be your expressive self or whatever you have to share. But there's kind of like a new energy coming into here too. Some of you have kind of retransformed yourself in the cosmic energetic realm. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. But the main, image, the main message, yes, an image as well, that we're getting through here is that you traverse many lifetimes, many universes, I would say more so many worlds, through different spans of time in cosmic time to be the expression of light that you are. That's why I gave a shout out to all the star seeds and the light workers there. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, next we have the fox. And the fox here, in this case, interestingly, is not what its usual meaning is Lenormand. I see here very much similar energy to the Fool. This very innocent energy coming about. So, okay, that's why. That's why the Fool and the fox here is being pointed out. There is an air or this sense of innocence about you. Like the sun in its pure nature does not see, because you see beauty and truth in everything, right? So you don't see the duality, or the word that they're bringing forth to mind for me is the contamination aspect in dualistic worlds, such as this one that we are living in dualistic universe, or not even dualistic. Certainly there's quote unquote, the best word we have in our language for me to describe is contamination. So because you see everything in its purest light, in purest form, in its purest beauty and truth and love, sometimes it's hard to see when things are, like I said again, the best word we have is contaminated, even though that's all part of the whole universe and the games that we all play. There are things, and that's where it makes you prone to trickery, or prone to being too trusting of the world perhaps, or to possibly being deceived by things that are contaminated. It's the best word to describe in here. As with the energy of the Fool, it's like that pure innocence and trust, ready to start new adventure, but not being aware of the potential dangers that also comes with an adventure. Because there are people out there who are deceptive and tricky, and so the whole gamut. But when you see things from a pure perspective, those things do not circle in your mind. They don't ruminate in your mind that, oh, there are people out there who, they exist, but it's not something that is in resonance with your energy, so you don't take notice of it often. And that's fair. That's the nature of who you are, and it's beautiful for that what it is. But there's also recognition to be stated, that to be aware and to recognize, and sometimes to keep in mind that there are deceptive people out there. There are people who are charlatans and tricksters and things like that, not for the not for the benefit of other people or of mankind. And it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game, right? So there has to be that aspect for us to have contrast and really appreciate the light aspect of life. Yeah, but it's just something to be noted. Yes, something to keep awareness of it. Yeah. Okay, and let's look at the last part here. And we have the moon, or the la pleine lune here. This is the full moon. Okay. Huh, okay. Lovely. This ties back to this message here. Also with the depths of the oceans here, the oceans of whirl as whales cross through. And seeing the truth, no matter whatever universe or planet or worlds you step into, whichever dimension you step into. It's the main thing I was hearing when I was getting the message from this card was traversing worlds through dispel unclarity. No, what was it? Traversing worlds to dispel obscurity. That was the word I was looking for. Yes. That was coming through. Traversing worlds to dispel obscurity, which is similar to the message we talked about here. It's going to different worlds and then shining your light, sharing your information, by being yourself, by being expressive, by being creative, however your light shines. That is the purpose here, part of your soul's mission, actually, for a good number of you. For some of you, it's out of curiosity, and that's cool. Like I said, all in the game we're playing. And for some of you, it's actually quite definitive in terms of more of its soul purpose, what your soul wants to do, what your soul wants to express, what your soul wants to accomplish is to traverse throughout different worlds and universes in order to be a light worker, to shed your expression of your pure inner light in those worlds, so it can bring out truth and love and give contrast to the darkness that is often present in order to give us contrast. Okay, any final messages for Pile2 Reading? Great. You do you, Pile2. Just keep being you is their main message. Just keep being you. Yeah. Brilliant source of light. Shine. Keep on shining so brilliantly. And doing whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter as long as you stay true to your inner light, to your heart and yourself, and express that, then all is standing. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Pile2, for bringing your energy and your presence here. Very much appreciated. And welcome. So that was your reading, Pile2. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm wishing you a wonderful, magical day whenever and wherever you are. Take care of yourself, shine ever so brilliantly as you do already. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye, lovely stars. Hello, beautiful stars of Pile3. Welcome to your reading. Alright, so just one thing to note at first. Your pile is quite unique already from the other piles. You're the only pile where they want me to shuffle your tarot cards on camera, so we'll do that when we get to that point. And you are the only pile as well to get a shape for your Lenormand, and the Lenormand shape you have is in the shape of a tree. So whatever that means to you, if that has any significance, then do pick up on it. Of course, your pile has also a lot of plants deck in it. When I came to the pile selection, the deck selection, they just told me to go with a lot of the plant decks that I have. So if you have a great connection to the plant kingdom or the natural world, or like the plant devas, then this is definitely the pile for you. But a lot of plant natural world association we've got going on here. And let's explain the formats a little bit. We're going to look at the nature of your inner light and what it's like via our oracle cards here. The tarot will dive into what limitations or things that are perhaps holding you back from fully connecting or expressing your light. And then the Lenormand will look at the practical aspect of how to connect your light with on the practical aspect with the outer world and the physical world here. All right, so let's get started with the cards you've chosen. We have pomegranate here with personal power. So we are looking at your personal we're looking at the nature of your inner light here. So personal power, wow, okay. Queen status is coming through. Very strong, very high elevated, almost like queen that is in Egyptian times, like Cleopatra or something. But strong, strong feminine, divine, strong authoritative feminine energy coming through here. So let's see, what else have we got about the nature of your inner light here? Yeah, so a queen knows how to give and take. A queen knows how to rule, knows when to be decisive, authoritative, and at the same time when to be loving and compassionate to her subjects. So a lot of you may resonate with divine feminine energy regardless of what gender or sex or whatever you are. Is irrelevant. We're talking about energy here, but tapping to the energy of a mother, right? A mother knows how to be stern, how to discipline her child when it's necessary, but also at the same time knowing when to be forgiving, lenient, compassionate to her child when it is merited, when it's deserved. So we're getting a dual aspect of the energy coming through here with personal power. It's a personal power that your inner light holds and carries, and knowing the duality, or just having this kind of dual aspect of knowing when to be assertive and when to be kind of receptive or more compassionate is the nature of your inner light here. Okay. And let's look at the other card you've chosen, which is the Page of Wands. Oh, okay, that's why. You know how to dance with the dark. And yes, because your inner light is the source of light that holds no fear. That holds no fear of the dark. That's why it's able to dance with the dark so well. What we mean here is that, so when we're talking about the Page of Wands as well, it's the kind of untethered, unlimited potential of light, right? A bit different than Pile2's energy, but its page has a lot to develop, but it also has a lot of potential, and that's the nature of your light here. In its interaction with darkness, or the intertwining, the ebb and flow of the flux between yin and yang, light and dark, it's able to learn, grow, and what's the best word for this? Not necessarily manipulate, but although that could be an aspect that comes through too with the yin energy, it's more so being able to, it's like a dance that we talked about already. It's being able to know how to dance with the dark, yet maintaining the light. And at the same time, those lines can become kind of muddle, because as we see in the yin yang symbol, it's when yin goes to its utmost, then it becomes yang, and vice versa. When yang goes to its utmost, then it transforms into yin. So there's this nature and this essence going between authoritative and being compassionate, and kind of those two dancing back and forth, like the light and the dark here, that the delineation between the two blurs so much that it kind of coalesces into one, or mixes into one. It's like there comes a point when a mother is stern to her child out of love and compassion, and there's not a distinction between, oh, she's only being stern to be authoritative. No, she's also being stern because it's out of love and compassion, and that's where the lines kind of blur. And that's the nature of the dance we have going on here between your authoritative side and your compassionate side, or between your light and dark. Okay, and let's see what our other oracles tell us about the nature of your inner light here. Okay, so we have hibiscus with beauty and fame. Okay. And then we have cornflower with hope for the future. Yes. Okay, let's space these out a little bit. So this takes me okay, sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Takes me, so in terms of this inner aspect of your light and connecting with it, there is almost, I want to say, like a driving factor that comes along with it, is to have this recognition, not out of ego, but out of growth and advancement, because it's not ego, it's what we would call ambition. When you have the ambition to strive for more, to kind of aim for higher, or to go for to achieve something greater, it pushes you to work harder, to learn, to grow, to transform, right? To put more effort into your personal development. And that in itself is part of the nature of your light and what it wants to, on a soul level, it wants to be more encompassing, be more pervasive, be more eminent. On the physical 3D level, it's having ambitions, being more, sometimes perhaps being more competitive, but not for competitive sake. It's being competitive because our personal growth, to want to strive to push yourself to further limits, and break those limits, and keep on growing and keep on leveling up and keep on expanding. Yeah, so it's that kind of thing we're getting here, that energy we're getting here with beauty and fame and hope for the future. It's that energy of ambition to strive for something greater, to strive to be greater. That's the dynamic we have going on here. Wonderful. Okay, let's look at the other cards here. So we have Ivy. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So give me a second here, stars. Okay. Okay, this talks about timing and place. Kind of being at the right time at the right place. A bit more than that. Let's first explain. Okay. Okay, the timing and the place, it's now in this world. That's why it's so chaotic and toxic. And okay, ivy itself is not toxic. Well, I mean, to some species it might. The nature of ivy here is tenacity. Ivy holds. I see ivy can be seen as two ways. We often see it as kind of perhaps like parasitic, because like it climbs on other plants and it takes over and it kind of just overwhelms. But we also see the support aspect of ivy coming through here when the timing is right. Ivy flowers like and stays flowering late into the season, well after other plants, and it provides nectar and pollen for the other insects later in the season. In addition to that, the spiritual essence of ivy here, it's kind of like the duality and that dance between the light and dark. More so, we're talking about the energy between creation and chaos here, the dance between chaos and creation. In order to create, you need to harness the power of chaos in order to destroy something, to make it begin anew, right? It's like when a star is reborn, it first needs to die. If a star is dying, there is no potential for it to grow, for it to it's on its way to come back to the void, to come back with source. And then from that, once it gets to that state, yes, thank you, Spirit, it they just gave me confirmation. It will again be reborn out of kind of like a Big Bang explosion, if you want to think of it that way. So however ways you want to see stars forming or think of stars forming, it harnesses both the power of chaos and into creation. So like that dance we talked about. We see the image of the green man here. So we're talking about that support, that fertility, that in kind of like a toxic environment or world. So the time where we are at now on this planet, there is a lot of chaos going on, but in that chaos, thank you, Spirit, in that chaos can be reborn new system, can be reborn new ways of thinking, can be reborn new ideas and creation and better things of the planet. But it's a chaotic state that has to be experienced, has to go through, has to be, the challenge has to arise in order for humanity to go into a crucible state, almost a coercion of change, because without the pressure of the chaotic energy, the new creative energy or things that can arise will not come to pass. And that's the energy of the ivy coming through here. So your light coming through in this space and time here and now on this planet is for that very purpose. It's coming through here in this reading. And the tenacity, the support of ivy is coming through in terms of its also ability to harness the power of chaos and destruction, especially in resonance with where we are at the time we are now on this planet. Very powerful energy there. Yes. And I'm not sure, but I don't think I ever really got to see this card in a lot of readings. So thank you, Pile3s, for your presence in this energy today. Okay. And let's look at our other final oracle card here. It's crazy. So we have marjoram with soothe and comfort. Oregano. Okay. Okay, give me just a second. Yeah, so first crazy synchronicity is when I was shuffling for this deck, the Essential Oils deck, I was like, I think Majorum is gonna come through, and it came through. So this talks about some Majorum as an essential oil, and just as itself smells amazing, and has this soothing, comfortable effect, both in terms of energetically, mental, emotionally, but also on a smooth muscle level as well, used in combination with other essential oils or on its own to kind of soothe the muscles, but also soothe the senses and soothes the spirit. So if that is something you use a lot, or you are looking to, or you're interested in, Majorum would be something to consider, just for the aromatic effect alone. Or if some of you are looking for some form of peace, shape, or of peace of mind in your daily life, Majorum could be of benefit. Don't know why that's coming through, but there it is. So gonna put, I'm here to convey the message, and it is out there. But in terms of your inner light and what we're talking about in this reading here, it's bringing that that motherly energy that we talked about earlier into this chaotic state in time that we're in. It's bringing soothing comfort to your inner light. Bring soothing comfort, whether it's seemingly in a hard way, in an authoritative way, or in a compassionate way. It still brings and carries out that energy regardless, to help people here. Yeah, so far, like, also distinctly in your pile here, a lot of your inner light talks about the kind of purpose your inner light holds within this world too. So that's wonderful. Okay. Do we need to cap out anything else on these messages? No, we talk about the transition, the growth, and the ambition that your light needs to go through and experience in order for its growth. But yeah, the purpose for it is to bring soothing comfort and transform the energy of chaos into creative, comforting energy. Yeah, that duality energy of the mother that we're talking about. That's why a lot of perhaps that's why a lot of divine feminine energy is coming through here as well. Like I said, regardless of gender, right? Okay, now let's look into how to bring out your light here to see if there's any restrictions or limitations that is keeping you from shining at your utmost. Okay. Okay, that was a horrible shuffle. Let's do one more. Okay. All right, so for pile 3, here's good. Okay. How can they bring forth their light? Okay, we'll take that one, and then 2 more here. Okay. Yeah, and one more. Okay, how do Pile3 bring forth their light spirit? Thank you. All right, let me put this here real quick. All right, Pile3. So we have the Hermit. Interesting. Okay. 1 foot between 2 doors. Or I mean, yeah. 1 step between 2 worlds, 2 doors, something like that. 3 of Cups. And we have the Hierophant. Okay. I see. Then we have the 2 Pentacles. And last we have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so we are in this format, in this portion here, stars, we are talking about how to bring forth this light, right? There is something being steeped between 2 worlds or 2 differing aspects, whether talking about that dance here, whether it's being between 2 aspects of yourself, being between the light and the dark, and kind of being in the middle or having your feet on both sides of light and dark. There is some form or shape here, something of the sort that almost makes you feel not kind of, well, yeah, somewhat like alienated from, well, whether alienated in the literal sense, whether you feel like you are an alien from another world, or feeling alienated from people because of your ability to understand and to dance between light and dark. That it makes you feel like sometimes it's difficult to connect with people because they are so black and white. They are so like, well, you're either a good person or you're a bad person. And life is a lot more nuanced than that. But there's something about having 2 feet in 2 different waters here, or in 2 different grounds, or in 2 different states here. I know that reminds us a lot of the Temperance card, but getting strong feelings with that here with the Hermit, because we're talking more importantly about how it makes you feel and how it makes you interact or associate or dissociate from interaction with others. It's this duality state of going back and forth between, well, sometimes I'm more this way and sometimes I'm more this way. What happens there in the process, that's just part of your inner light. That's what Spirit wants to convey here, especially in this reading, to recognize and appreciate that, because it's part of your personal power. So do not let that discourage you in any way of being who you are. That's the nature of your inner light. But in terms of how it comes across in the world, it makes, like we said earlier, make you feel indifferent or alienated or hard to connect or associate with others. So there's one aspect that is coming through with that. The other that's coming through here is there is some aspect of either religion or ceremony or some sort of lineage, some sort of, Okay, give me a second, stars. Let me get what that last message was about. They just sent me something. Yeah, something that makes you, well, you're part of this, something that makes you feel wobbly. So whether it's being too steeped in a certain set ways or lineage or something of the sort, or this tradition, a certain set of tradition that is bringing a bit of kind of like an imposing challenge. Yes, in terms of how to, that's the limitation we're looking at in terms of how to kind of connect with your light, connect with your inner light, how to bring it out, how to make it shine. It's that your inner light, the nature of what it is, it's being steeped in some sort of limitation that has to do with the way that you feel you need to conform to certain things, whether that is religion, society, traditions. Yeah, there's some sort of that aspect that is limiting for you and that is confining for you. And in order to fully connect and bring out your inner light, there has to be some resolution with that aspect, with that limitation, some form of confines there in regards to differing for each of you, but like we said, some sort of kind of strict, methodical, either tradition or restrictions or rules, something there. That's part of what's kind of maybe feeling the inclination to do things in such a certain way or in things in such a specific way. It's that part itself is kind of what's limiting you from connecting with your full inner light, to fully dance with the darkness, to fully embrace the power of chaos and creation simultaneously, and to fully connect with the personal power of your inner light. The way to do it is in a more, I'm hearing jovial manner, in a more playful, delightful manner. Like it doesn't need to be so strict. It's like, yeah, it's like what we talked about with that hermit phase. Like it's like it's not black and white. It's not either you're good or you're bad, or like, yeah, it's either you're with religion or you're not, or whether you are with society or you are not. It's not about that. It's the playful the playful flux between yin and yang, the playful flux between darkness and light. It's the natural immersion and flowing from one state to another, how to use chaos to turn into creation, how creation, understanding that turns back into chaos, is that natural dance of just keep on, that flows like the eternity symbol here. And that is what's being encouraged here. We see duality of, reciprocity of energy with the 2 here, and with the 6, it's the balancing of the energy, but going back and forth between it. With the 6 of Pentacles here, effort in, effort out, right? Same energy, reciprocated. With 2 Pentacles here, energy in, energy out, and then there's this dance that goes back and forth. And once you are able to kind of resolve the unease or dis-ease about being between one or two, between one and the other, or fluctuating between the two, and able just to dance and play through those 2 energies very easily, that's when you can fully access and open and fully, I'm also hearing initiate your path and your steps into connecting with your inner light. It's being able to do this through a playful manner. To have fun with it instead of seeing as an obligation or a restriction of sorts here. Okay, wonderful. Any further messages we have for Pile2 regards to that spirit? No, they just primarily want you to be playful about it and not to be so strict on yourself about it. Yes. Also, that's why martyrums comes through. Having that around or connecting with that energy can also help you be a bit less stringent or less stern about the approach to it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so that's where we see the restrictions mainly is, and the advice for how to navigate that. Okay. All right, let's finally look at the practical way of how this inner light of yours can be connected with and brought out in a community sense, or to the physical aspect of the world here, or to the practical aspect, we should say. Okay, so remember we have the tree here as your shape. So these are the roots. Here is the trunk, and these are the crown. Okay, so let's start at the root. We have the child. Talked about playful. And we have the masculine energy. And then we have, the masculine energy again. Okay. And then we have the letter. And then we have the mountain, which is full of trees. For this very plant-based decks you have going on here. Okay, let me see what the nature of this tree is for you. Stars of Pile3. Therein lies limitation. Okay. Okay. All right, so at the root of things, in a practical sense, we do see what we talked about with the ambition and the initiative. Yes, so do maintain the ambition and the initiative to whatever goals, whatever aspirations you have in life. The core and the essence of it, let's talk about the other aspect of the root too, and having that youthful, childlike, playful innocence in terms of how you approach your ambition, how you approach your goals, how you approach life in general. So you don't feel like you're just wandering through life willy-nilly. No, that's certainly not the case. It's, yes, you have the ambition, you have the drive, you have the motivation. However, the trunk of that carries through here is about doing it in a way where it doesn't feel so restrictive or challenging. So Yeah, we'll get into the example. I'll give you an example a little bit to help clarify this. But when we look at the crown, or the overall arching aspect of this matter, is almost feel like it's almost feel like feeling conscripted to do things in a certain way, or scripted. I know conscripted means something else, but the energy of conscription is the same way, right? There's a coercion of somebody having to go into the army because against their will, more or less. That's what conscription is. And also being scripted in a certain way with the letter here. It's like you are scripted, like an actor or something, or even somebody who presents to the public figure or the public eye, like a newscaster or a politician. They are very scripted in terms of what they say, and that in itself brings limitation. Yeah, it's feeling that confinement and restriction and that scripted sense of limitation, or that conscription energy that we're getting through here. But yes, the way to carry through this, to how to hold yourself up in life with the trunk here, how to carry out yourself in daily life. Just like the trunk is the connection that brings the nutrients from the root and bring it to the crown, bring it to the ambition or the overall arching, providing aspect of the tree itself, is to be willful, to be ambitious, to be determined, but not to be so restrictive. As we look at the yang or masculine energy here. So there's the healthy aspect of the masculine energy, drive, ambition, motivational force, and then there's also the restrictive aspect of the masculine energy here, being too dogged, too determined, too overzealous of something, too pushy. Yeah, so the practical aspect here of how to really connect and open up your inner light and to really shine brilliantly is to have your goals and ambition, to follow through, to have that determination and drive, yet to do it in a way where there's ease to it, almost that playful character, playful innocence and ease about it. Yes, that will make things less challenging when we approach it from that aspect. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but it can be a nice flow in between. Yes. All right, any more messages for Pile3? Okay. No, we are good. All right. Thank you, Pile3, for joining me. With that, we will conclude your message here. So, yes, have a wonderful day whenever and wherever you are. Take care of yourself. Shine ever so bright. Bring out your inner light here. And then I will see you in the next reading. Bye, lovely stars.